Wow, my God, that was insane. That was absolutely insane. How many runs was that? How many feet was that? How wet was it? Whew. Downhill is the name of the game, and in the Alps and the mountains and bike parks all over the world, there are some incredible downhill runs for us to experience. However, very often we are restricted by timetables and seasons. But on an e-mountain bike, not so. But how many downhill runs can you get done then in one day on one charge? Now, a lot of you guys have either bought or are thinking about buying an e-mountain bike as a shuttle tool. But how many runs can you actually get done on one charge? Well, I've got a specialized lever here with a 704 watt-hour battery. In terms of the runs I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be looking at doing different runs every time I go to the top of the hill. In terms of the run times now, the recent World Cup at Leogang was just over 3 minutes. So I'm hoping that every run I do is going to be over 2 minutes. Let's go and find out. Okay, so I got my Garmin on my wrist to measure my heart rate and the moving speed, just to keep an eye on things. I've also got my Garmin on my bike, which is going to keep a check on my ascent and descent. And the reason I got it there is I can actually see it better on the bike than I can on my wrist, because I haven't got my glasses on me. So we got to the top of the first climb in just under 9 minutes. It's a 400-foot climb. As you can see, the conditions are slightly heavy today. It's been raining all week. So I'm thinking that's going to affect the amount of battery that we use on the bike. I've also got mud tires on. So again, those aggressive tires are going to have an impact on how much battery that I use. But let's crack on with descent number 1. Absolutely stinking. Oh dear. Right, as you can imagine, 400 feet up, now 400 feet down. Oh, crikey. Right, next variable is rider weight. I weigh in just over 90 kilos. I've got 2 full water bottles on me and probably a couple of kilos of water after that first run. So there, top of run 4, or top of climb 4, 1,269 feet. Obviously I've only done 3 runs, about to drop into my 4th run. I want to talk about power modes now. I'm going to be riding eco and trail for most of this ride. Clearly gradient matters a lot when you're doing a challenge like this. But I'm pretty much going to ride in how I would normally. I'm out to have some fun. I'm not going to kill myself in eco if I don't have to. So yeah. A mixture of eco and trail. I'm already tired. I'm just about to drop into my 6th descent. It's 1 hour, 5 minutes. I'm just wondering how many runs you'd have got on an Uplift van in that time. Probably not quite that many. Certainly wouldn't have had the kind of workout you've had on an e-mountain bike. In terms of the battery, which I'm on at the minute, I think I've dropped 2 bars. So I've got another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got another 9 bars left. Crikey, it's been a long day, Brandon.
Yeah, I think it will be.
That water. Oh, the coolest tracks ever. And there's nobody here. There's absolutely nobody here. So that's my 9th different downhill track I've done. I've just ticked over. I'll tell you what I've ticked over to when I get to the bottom of this run. But what I really love about doing this is the fact that you're not sat on a chairlift getting cold for every run. You're actually keeping warm as you're pedaling back to the top of the hill. So that means when you get to the top of the hill, you're actually fresh to do that run. And because you're ticking them over back-to-back runs, it means you get into a flow and a rhythm. Such a cool thing to do. So that's it, 10 runs up, 10 runs down, 3,000 feet up, 3,000 feet down, it's all square, half use of the battery. I'm on 5 bars out of the 10 bars which we started off with. But for me, what's been quite noticeable in the last half an hour is how the trails have got more technical and they've got faster, which means you're getting a little bit tired and yeah, things are getting a little bit, whoa. Sorry for the radio silence the last couple of runs, but it absolutely tipped it down. But you know what? I don't think it matters on an e-bike. I saw a couple of guys on hardtails disappear off to the cafe for some cake and coffee. But we've pressed on, splashed through the pedals on the climbs, and we are now at 4,896 feet. So there you go, 100 feet of climbing to do, and we'll have 5,000 feet up and 5,000 feet down, and 2 bars of battery left. And yeah, I think we've been out 2 or 3 hours. Obviously, we've been filming a bit as well. But I don't think you'll ever get that amount of runs done on an uplift truck in the morning. Now, one thing to remember if you're going to hit multiple downhill runs on your e-mountain bike is don't forget to eat some food, because I actually got the massive shakes halfway through that. Anyway, what are the scores on the ridiculously wet doors? Okay, so we're looking at 24.04 miles, 5,500 feet of ascent. So save that. 2 new records. Tell me about it. One is the wettest record, one is the most hungry. 5,498. New cycling VO2 max detected. Okay. 23 hours recovery. Day off tomorrow then? So average heart rate 110, maximum heart rate 154, so there was a lot of climbing. So there's our day out. We've got 5,498 feet of climbing and 5,518 feet of descending. Total of 16 downhill runs. Super wet day in the woods, but nevertheless, a hell of a lot of fun. I cannot recommend it any more than... Actually, I need to stop because I need to eat some food. So I've just been asked by the man behind the camera, have we done enough? Well, I consider 16 downhill runs, 16 2-minute downhill runs, enough to do in 2 3/4 hours. Obviously, we could come here and sit down, charge the battery up and go out again in the afternoon. But if there's one thing I'm disappointed with today, is the fact that on every run I was doing, I was thinking, yeah, bacon roll at the end of it, bacon roll at the end of it. Get down here, and what happens? The cafe closes early. So yeah, there's a downside to spending time in the woods. But what about those 16 runs then? Well, it's affected by so many things, such as rider weight, by tyre choice, by tyre pressure, by the mode you ride in, by the ground conditions. So even though we did 5,600 feet of descending, that number might well be very different for someone who's on a different bike with different tyre pressures and all those things I just mentioned. But a great day out, and like I said, we could easily just spend another couple of hours here if the cafe was open and go back out this afternoon and do another 5,000, which means 10,000 runs in a day. You could probably do 15,000 runs if you wanted to. But that's it. Let us know your thoughts on this video. Give us a thumbs up if you like it. Let us know your comments below if you've got any questions on how you think you can get more range out of your battery. If you want to see more wet weather action on EMBN, check out the video we did in the Lake District with Adam Brayton. Now that was super wet. And also our adventure into Noida in Scotland with Hannah Barnes. Click on the globe, subscribe to EMBN, and see you next time in the woods.